Today we're going to be talking about perimeter, area, and area of a shaded region. Mostly we're going to be dealing with triangles and rectangles today. So things that we need to remember first, we think about what perimeter actually means. So back from your middle school and elementary days, perimeter means is going to equal the sum of all sides. So however many sides that shape should have, you're going to find the sum of all of those sides. And then with area, we're going to specifically talk about area of rectangles. And so to do that, we're going to take base times height or length times width, whatever you want to say for that. Okay, those are kind of our formulas that we need to know. So first question, we're going to find the perimeter of this triangle. So you can either set up an equation for this, or you can just simply look at the shape and figure out what it is. So if we're doing the formula way, we would take our three sides and we're going to add them together. And as long as we have all three of them, it doesn't matter. So we're taking 3x plus 8 plus 4x minus 1 plus 5x plus 2. And each of those is a quantity, so they're in parentheses. Now, when we add, because that's what we're doing here, when we're adding, we're finding the sum of all of those sides, the parentheses don't really matter, so we just need to count up what we've got. So we have 3x's, and another 4x's is 7x, plus another 5x's is 12x. And then 8 minus 1 is 7, plus this 2 is 9. So 12x plus 9 is the perimeter of this triangle. Alright, let's kind of work the other direction. So here we're given the perimeter P, and we have to find the missing side length. So we know that this side here is 3x minus 2, and this side here is 6x plus 6, and the entire thing altogether is 13x plus 11. So I'm going to put a question mark here. You could also use a different variable if you want, but let's set up an equation. So we have 3x minus 2 plus the quantity 6x plus 6 plus question mark has to equal 13x plus 11. Okay, so we know that this information needs to be true. Again, you could use a different variable for this if you wanted, or just a question mark. So let's see what we have so far. We have 3x's and 6x's, so now we have 9x. And negative 2 and a positive 6, those are going to add together to give us a positive 4. So those things added with whatever our mystery amount is, whatever that side length is going to give us the perimeter. So if we're trying to get that question mark, well, we have 9x's, we're trying to get to 13, or you can work on subtracting 9x's from both sides. You can actually work on solving an equation. So if we have 9x's, we're trying to get to 13. That means that we would have 4x's that we still need. And if we're at 4 and we're trying to get to 11, so if we subtracted 4 from both sides, we would have 7. So that question mark, that side length, should be 4x plus 7. Okay, and you can double check that by adding them all up again. So 3 and 6 x's, that's 9, plus another 4, that does give us 13 x's. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4, plus this 7 does give us 11. So we're good to go. Alright, the next type of question is going to be finding the area of a rectangle using variables. So we have our rectangle here, and we're finding the area. We went over our formula is base times height, so area equals base times height. And it really doesn't matter which one of these is the base and which one of these is the height. So I'm going to use this monomial 3x. We're going to write that first. And then the binomial 8x minus 5 comes next. So we're multiplying these two things together. So we're going to distribute these. 3x times 8x would give us 24x squared. 3x times negative 5 gives us a negative 15x. Those aren't like terms. Nothing to combine. So there's your answer. Now let's take that one step further and apply this, where we're going to find the area of the shaded region. So we have the dimensions of the big rectangle, and we have the dimensions of the inner rectangle, and we want to find the area of all of this stuff that's shaded. So how are we going to do that? Well, if we take the area of, so the area of the shaded is going to equal, if we take the area of this total thing, if we pretended as though this was all filled in, so we're going to take the area of that total, and then we're going to subtract out the area of, I guess I'll say small rectangle. Okay, we'll say area of the small rectangle. So this thing that you're cutting out, you're removing, you're going to subtract it out from that. So the area of the total, that means that we need to know what the total is. So let's do, well, I was going to draw a different thing, but that's okay. So total, all right, the entire big rectangle, we would have dimensions of 9x by 16x plus 5. So that's the length and the width, or the base and the height of that rectangle. So we're going to figure out what that is first here. So 9x times 16x is 144x squared, and 9x times 5 is 45x. We also need to know the small rectangle, the area of the small rectangle. So those dimensions, the length and width, or base and height, are 4x and 7x minus 2. So when we distribute those, we get 28x squared, and 4x times negative 2 is a negative 8x. Now, we're taking this total and we're subtracting this quantity. So we do need to make sure that we're subtracting both of those pieces. That means that we would have the 144x squared and the 45x, those are staying the same. But when we distribute that negative 1 in, because we're subtracting, we're now going to have a negative 28x squared. And when we subtract a negative 8, that's going to make it be a positive 8x. So our last thing to do here is then just to combine our like terms to simplify. So we have, sorry, not 144. 144x squared minus 28x squared will leave us with 116x squareds. And 45x plus 8x would give us 53x's. And so that is the area of the shaded region. Okay, so keep in mind, perimeter means that we're going to add all of the sides together. So we'll go back to this piece for a second. Add all the sides together. If you're missing a piece and you have the perimeter, figure out what you got so far and what more you need in order to get to that total. Area of just a regular rectangle, you're going to take length times width, or base times height. Just multiply those things. And then our area of the shaded region, we're going to fill in that entire thing, pretend it's all shaded in, and then subtract out or remove this piece that has been cut out. That's it.